sourdough bread. We are making sourdough bread today here in Kitchen Bravo. I've got my own sourdough starter that I use to make this gorgeous golden bowl of bread. And the trick to this one, or what's different about this one, is that there's roasted garlic peppered throughout the entire loaf. You can see little pockets of it, and I wish you could smell, oh my gosh, smell the sweet roasted garlic aroma that is just permeating through the air. Okay, we're gonna show you how to make this bread. It's a whole lot easier than you think. I'm so excited about the sourdough bread. I can't wait to get started and show you how easy it is. Okay, so in this jar is a sourdough starter that I started quite a few months ago. And it's really easy to do. It's a little bit time consuming, but once you get it started, you just feed it and you can have it. I mean, there are sourdough starters that actually last for years. Look at this. It's really kind of creamy. It's simply water and flour. And that's all it is. So you have to mix it, you have to nurture it, you have to let it ferment. But this is really amazing stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a quick little stir, really quick, just like that. And see, it's real runny, real loose, and that's fine. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So for this recipe, to get it started, I need to have 1 cup of sourdough starter mix. I have a little quarter cup here because that's the only thing that's gonna fit inside the jar. And I pulled this out of the refrigerator so it's still very cold. And whenever you work with sourdough, you can actually go ahead and keep it in the fridge. Some people keep it in the freezer too, but I make this bread on a regular basis because it really is a favorite. It always goes really, really quickly every time I make it. So I don't have time to freeze the sourdough starter. Okay, it's smelling a little bit funky. That's how I know it's right. All right. Mr. Producer, could you please give me another wooden spoon, please, if you would, out of the drawer? Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a funny thing, that was the spoon I was going to use to mix this up, but I got stuff all over the handle. I really don't like working with that. So into 1 cup of sourdough starter, I'm going to add 1 1/4 cup of warm water. And this is going to thin out the starter even more. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix it up really well until it's kind of combined and it makes this milky white liquid, which is doing super well right here. Careful not to get too close. You don't want the smell to get funk on you. It is sourdough. It may smell kind of rancid, but the taste is absolutely amazing. I mean, it's really one of those magical kind of recipes. All right, so into my sourdough starter here, I've got 3 1/2 cups of bread flour going right in. I'm also going to add to that about 2 teaspoons of salt and 1 tablespoon of yeast. And I'm just going to go ahead and mix it until it makes a shaggy dough. Super shaggy. And you know me well enough to know that here in about 2 seconds, I'm just going to say, screw the spoon and go right in, which is just what I do because I get dirty with my dough. Oh, that wasn't right. I love making bread literally by hand. All right, so as you can see, it's come together in a really big mass and it's really very sticky. This is exactly what we're looking for, a big sticky ball of sourdough. So what I need to do now is kind of scoop it up in my hand. There we go. And I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil in my bowl, just a little bit, maybe a tablespoon, that should do. I'm just going to go ahead and grease the bowl a little bit. Now I want to put my sourdough ball down into the oil and scrape as much of it off my fingers as I possibly can because this bread recipe seriously is so freaking good and so freaking easy. So I flip the dough over so that way it's oiled on all sides, and now I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap and let it rise for about 2 hours. And then we're going to go ahead and punch it down and fold in that amazing, beautiful roasted garlic. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Give me 2 hours and time to wash my hands.
Stinky.
It's been 2 long hours and our dough, as you can see, has definitely, absolutely risen. It's very airy, very puffy. It's ready to get deflated. So what I'm going to do is, if I can find the rest of this thing right there, there we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and move this plastic wrap over to the side because I need to use it again. And I'm going to actually pour a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon and a half's worth, here on my countertop. And I'm gonna turn the dough out onto this olive oil. I'm gonna smear it around a little bit first because I like to be messy. So I'm gonna turn the dough, scrape it all out of the bowl onto the oil. Get as much of it as I can. There we go. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and press it and deflate it and get all of the air out because I want it to be a little bit denser on its second proofing. So from here, I have this beautiful roasted garlic that I made earlier today, and this is going into my sourdough bread. So it kind of, some of it came out in clumps, you know, it's still kind of big. So I can just rip it apart just a little bit and just put it in different areas all over the bread because it's gonna get folded in. But I don't wanna have, you know, some parts of the bread without garlic flavor and without garlic pieces and other parts with all of the garlic. So I'm just gonna kind of tear it up and mash it. I'm gonna fold this over and put even more garlic on the new part that is exposed up at the top here. So the garlic is gonna give it a super crispy, caramelly flavor. It's just gonna make it so wonderful. Oh my gosh. A lot of people like garlic bread, you know, like just regular garlic bread. Why make just regular old garlic bread when you can make this sourdough garlic bread? I mean, this just brings it to a whole different level. This changes the game. Okay, there we go. Right there. I think I have just one more little piece. So as you can see, I'm folding the bread in over itself. And this is also going to give me some more layers to get more garlic and a whole lot more flavor. There we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and knead it over and over again, pressing out as much air as possible. There we go. Beautiful. All right, punching the dough down, folding it on itself, and now I'm going to shape it into a ball. And I want to just cup my hands around the dough, kind of coming outwards and scooping up underneath as I turn it, just like this. Okay. There's a little garlic right there. It's trying to escape. We're not going to have any escapees at all. All of that garlicky goodness is just going to stay right in there. There we go. All right, so now our dough is formed and shaped, and now I'm going to scoop it right back up, put it back in the bowl, and let it sit for another 2 hours until it's doubled in size. After that, we get to bake it and perfume your entire kitchen with the smell of roasted garlic. Okay, 2 more hours. All right, clearly the dough has risen and it's bubbled up so nicely and beautifully, and you can actually see more of the caramel colored garlic that's come to the surface right there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this back, and it's going to deflate a little bit, and that's fine, that's okay. So we're pretty much done with this guy. It's time to bake it. And the oven is preheated at 450 degrees. Now what I'm going to do is turn the dough back out onto a lightly oiled surface right here. And it's not a whole lot of oil, just enough to kind of give the bread a really good coating. So I'm going to spread the oil out just like this and get the dough. Oh, look at it's so airy and so light. I mean, look at it. It's almost like touching feathers. It's just that light. And all of the beautiful garlic that's in there. Awesome. Okay. So I'm the kind of person that will absolutely get every last bit of whatever it is out of the bowl, whether it's meat, whether it's bread, dough, whatever it is. Okay. So I've got the bread out, and I'm doing this because I don't want the bread to stick in the pot. So here we go. It's nice and round. It's moving really nicely on the countertop. I'm going to flip it over to get the other side really, really well oiled too. And I'm just going to go ahead and take my oily hands and put them in the Dutch oven right here. All right, so I'm gonna get just a little scoop of masa. You can use semolina if you have semolina, or just a little bit of flour, but I prefer masa because it's a super finely ground cornmeal, and this is gonna give the bread just a little bit of texture on top of the olive oil. That's gonna really keep it from sticking. All right, so here we go. Let's scoop the bread up, turn it over like this, because there's a beautiful piece of garlic right there on top. Just one right here, one here, 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 here. Because you know, we peppered it throughout the entire bowl. All right, here we go. Into the Dutch oven. Beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cover this guy up. Sweet. And into the oven for about 35 minutes. Here we are. This guy goes in. Oh, that's hot. Okay, 35 minutes later, we're gonna turn the temperature down a little bit in the oven and pull the lid off and bake it for another 10 minutes. So give me 35 minutes and then we'll check on what's baking. Okay, good. Timer's off, time to check the bread. Look at that. Yeah. So it deflated quite a bit whenever we got it out of the bowl and put it on the counter. But look, you can see it's very, very much gotten a lot bigger. It's very much reflated itself. Reinflated. It's kind of getting weight. It doesn't matter. All right, so I took the lid off. Now I'm going to lower the temperature down to 425, which is going to be right there. And we're going to check it in about 10 more minutes, I think, and then it should be done. 10 minutes. Hey, it's been 10 minutes. Now check on this. That is a perfect loaf of roasted garlic sourdough bread. Let's go ahead and get this guy out. Get the oven closed. There we go. All right. This bread, I wish you could smell it. I mean, oh my gosh, the garlic is just permeating the air all around. And the best thing is, I'm about to go to bed, and this is really gonna give me sweet dreams tonight. Oh my gosh. Yes, you see this lovely little piece of garlic right here? It's toasted and crispy, and it's gonna be super caramelized in the flavor that it shares. Oh man. I can't wait to cut into it, put a little bit of butter on it, maybe like a little compound butter. You can chop up some fresh herbs, mix it into the butter, spread it all over the bread. I mean, the possibilities are absolutely endless when it comes to this. Okay, let's get this guy out of the pot. Let's see here and see what we're dealing with on the bottom side. All right, here we go. Look, you see it spinning? That's from the olive oil and the masa that we put in the bottom of the pot to keep it from sticking. All right, so this is super hot. Let's see if I can get this here. This way maybe? There we go. You know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and flip it out. There. Coordination is not exactly my strongest thing when I'm baking so late in the evening. Yeah, that is hot. And this little guy, this little piece of garlic, well, it just fell off. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. It's really super sweet. Okay, guys, roasted garlic sourdough bread. Super easy to make. It's an impressive showstopper, and it's not difficult at all. For this recipe, for more recipes, for sourdough bread, for French bread, for baguettes, for rye bread, for challah, for even babka, cinnamon rolls, you name it, we've got it here at Kitchen Bravo. So subscribe now and let us know what it is that you'd like to see, what recipe you want to try. Okay guys, we're gonna let this cool before we cut right into it. See you later.